Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Invincible, Guarding the Globe, a new mobile game that I checked out when it launched earlier this year in February and was lucky enough to get contacted by Ubisoft, the developers, asking me if I wanted to do a sponsored video on it. And I couldn't be happier to do so because I take very few sponsorships on this channel, as you know if you're a longtime viewer and fan. And when I do it for games that I really believe in. And Invincible Guarding the Globe is exactly that kind of game. Because if you love Invincible, the original comic book, if you love the TV show, or even if you just love a mobile game where you're collecting heroes and villains, you're strategizing, you're watching these exhilarating battles, these bloody battles, you engaging in multiplayer and live events that change week over week, etc., then this is exactly the game for you. And the best part about it is I jumped into this game back in February and then I took a long break. I jumped right back in and I'm right in the midst of the action again. Nothing in this game is gated by your progression in terms of what you can unlock. I don't need to jump through tons of hoops when I'm, getting back into the game after taking a break to get new characters. I can go in and I can get new characters with just the press of a few buttons and, of course, a little bit of RNG luck on the refresh for the shops. But we'll get to that later because I want to talk about what I like about this game, what it does really well, and what you can expect to find when you dive in first for yourself by downloading using my link down below in the description. The basis of Invincible Guarding the Globe is straightforward. You put together your team of heroes and villains from the TV show, and the storyline of the game actually follows the TV show. So if you've watched the first few seasons on Amazon Prime, you're all up to date, but if not, you've got a whole bunch to catch up on because of how faithfully this adapts what you saw brought to life in animation. And you basically collect characters like Omni-Man, like his son Invincible, spoiler there, like the Immortal, like Adam Eve, and then you take them into battle to defend the universe, to crush your enemies, whether they're other players or whether they are story mode content, alliance content, or GDA missions, as well as live missions that rotate. And let me tell you, as you can see from the graphics already, this feels so real and so true to what you see in the show that it almost feels like it's ripped right out of the show in the best and bloodiest ways possible. One thing I want to highlight about the story as we dive into a mission here with my 5 best, including Alan the Alien, is how extensive the story is, but how it is not optional, but it's not going to gate any of your progress. And this is something that I see in a lot of mobile games that, sure, it may work for somebody else, but it works so well in Invincible Guarding the Globe because they don't gate your progress in other content based on your story mode progress. So that's what I thought coming back to the game after taking a few months off. I thought, yo, Alan's my MVP, baby. I thought, they've introduced all these extra chapters because they added so much to the game in just a few months. I really got to hand it to the devs. I think there was only 1 season worth of story mode content, and now we have 2 or 3 with an additional 1 coming in the future in just a few short months. But I thought, oh, I'm so behind on the story. I haven't played the game for months. When I go into the GDA missions and there's new stuff and there's stuff to farm, I'm not going to be able to farm it. Boy, was I wrong. You can just jump right back into all of the events, whether they're brand new, whether they've been out for a while, and you are not gated by any of the content that has been released. This is really good because it creates essentially a completely stress-free environment. And I don't know about you guys these days, but I'm pretty much past the point of playing games for like the ultra competitive, ultra heavy set. I gotta play for 12 hours a day to really farm everything. Invincible Guarding the Globe, it feels like I can make progress for sure, and if I want to ramp my progress, there are obviously ways to do so by hitting up the shops and stuff, but I've been completely free to play thus far myself, and I haven't felt like the game has chokeholded or really tried to gate my progress into going into the shop or into building up specific heroes. I've been pretty much able to do my own thing and progress at a steady pace from like pretty much every day that I pick up the game and play, whether I'm playing for 20 minutes a day or whether I'm playing it for an hour or more. So that's something I really have to give it up, for the game and the devs that they went ahead and made that decision to do so, because it's brave. Not a lot of games do that these days. A lot of them gate your access to other content through the story mode. And I gotta say, speaking of story mode, Cecil makes so many appearances. You got Angstrom making appearances. You got the Flaxians and then their invasion. This is straight out of the TV show. This is straight out of the series, the animated series. It's so good. And it gets me even more hyped for Season 3. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer for Season 3 with Invincible and Cecil talking in the burger shop. But they even memed on their own show and how they took a mid-season break and they're not going to be doing that for Season 3. And I feel like this game also takes a lot of cues from that, in the sense that they don't take themselves too seriously. You know, some game designers, developers, they take everything really, really seriously, almost to a fault. And don't get me wrong, from what I've seen, from what I've tracked, and what I've heard from content creators who cover this game full time, the devs do seem to be very attentive, listening to the players' needs, tweaking the game, making changes. I was taking a look at patch notes recently, and they buffed, I think, 7 different characters. They added a new friend system, which is now in the game, and they added 2 new campaign chapters, as well as player profiles. So they added a bunch of stuff brand new. And again, the game is only a few months old, so it's nice to see them still doing so. Speaking of which, okay guys, Cynicalex, okay, there's my profile. It's not private, it's public, so you can find me. There's my ID up at the top. You can go ahead and add me. I only have 30 spots. This is probably my biggest request for the devs, is open up the friends list so it can be like maybe 50, maybe 60. I feel like 30 is maybe a little bit too small, but we'll have to wait and see how quickly this one fills up, depending on how aggressive you guys are. Now, what about hero collection? I can probably hear you asking. So if you check out the game here, we've got already 40 plus different heroes that you can build, and I'm actually lacking right now because I've taken a break. So I have these, you know, characters that I need to collect, especially the Viltrumites. I really need to get Lucan and Thula on my team. And I think Doc Seismic's pretty good from what I've heard, and Universe is also quite strong. But I've got a lot of the core components, right? And by the way, guys, if you're wanting to catch up and get ahead in the game, use my download link. Hit up the game. You're going to get Omni-Man completely for free. You're going to get more rewards than I got when I first started the game. No one was giving me Omni-Man for free, okay? I had to go and grind it out, tough it out in the shop, waiting day in after day to find him. It didn't take me that long, I'll be honest. It took me like a week to get Omni-Man. I was actually really hyped about it. But the basis core of the game is that you're going to be collecting these characters, and then you're going to want to collect them again and again and again. This is the nice thing here. You're not going to be satisfied with just one copy of Omni-Man, because you're going to want to rank them up. And this is where it gets really nice, because you can rank up these characters and you can juice them up way beyond their initial rank. And it's going to be a pretty straightforward system where you're alternating between just using any characters as fodder or using identical characters as fodder. So you're going to want to pay attention and be careful when you're ranking up characters a little bit. So for that, I would, you know, advise you to look into more in-depth guides. But for the basis of it, you want to get multiple copies so that you can level up these characters from the different ranks, you know, all the way up from, you know, rare if you want to, but usually you start at elite, elite plus, exceptional, all the way up. Look at that, omnipotent plus with an infinite max level. So you can see that they've really designed this game to where you have tons of building room, and essentially the sky is the limit. And if you want to go all in on one character, and that's a lot of the advice that I've seen from content creators, go all in on a couple of characters, because it's really going to pay you a lot of dividend and reward in the long run of the game. Speaking of ranking up heroes and adding people on your friends list, did you know that this game also has a dedicated social media tab? So if you click on your level in the top left-hand corner and you click on social, you can actually go and join their official Discord server. And there's tons of helpful people in there, tons of guides and links to guides, tier lists, you know, videos that you can watch. It seems like they're building a really strong community for this game, even though it's only a few months old, and they're really supporting the teams and the people and the creative voices behind the game to make the game as good as possible. One of the newest game modes that they've added since I returned to the game is Multiverse Arena, and in this one you're going to be attacking other players in a PvP multiplayer scenario, trying to grind your way up to the top. Now I'm gonna you know what, I was gonna refresh, but let me just go after this guy right here. You want to bring in again your 5 best characters, which is why it pays, I think, in Invincible Guarding the Globe to really focus on your core team or core 2 teams. And the best advice I can give you for those core 2 teams, I need to see some like Adam Eve ults here. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Immortal. Boom. The best tip I can give you guys is to construct your team in the following manner. You probably want to go for 1 to 2 support characters and then 1 to 2 attackers and 1 to 2 defenders. You don't want to go all 5 attackers. You don't want to go all 5 defenders. You don't want to go basically more than 2 or 3 of each, and you certainly don't want to go more than 2 supports. Now, in this case, maybe you're questioning my advice because I'm about to lose to this player. But hey, listen, the game is not as easy as it seems, despite how gorgeous the animations look. I don't like seeing my baby all bloodied up like that. I just lost some. Oh, I still get rewards even though I lose. That's awesome. Okay, fantastic. And I can check out my battle log here. Listen, I've been putting in some work. Okay, I'm not taking full L's all the time. But this new game mode is quite nice because it allows you to flex your PvP chops, and it also highlights the value of different characters, because not every character is going to shine in every piece of content. And they have certain content that I'll show you a little bit later where you want to actually use specific characters that are different than just like the absolute top 5 best meta. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can use Omni-Man. You can throw Omni-Man at every problem you have, and he's going to just run through it like a paper, a brick through a paper wall. But if you don't want to, you can certainly still progress in this game, building up your favorite characters and focusing on them, whether that's, Rexplode or Duplicate or anyone else like that. We're going to lose 2 in a row here, folks. This is not a good look for me. Listen, I just want to talk about how good the game is. I didn't say that I was like a top tier player or I was a genius or anything. I have a lot of fun with the game, and I think that's what matters. How did I lose to this guy? I'm blown away. Yeah, okay, I think Green Ghost is a better support than I give her credit for. And Monster Girl is quite strong too. But yeah, that game mode is really good. There's also GDA Ops, and this sort of ties into what I was saying about the story mode not having any gated content. None of the content is gated by the story mode, because as much as the story mode is going to drop you really good rewards, like one-time rewards, the bulk of your farming and the bulk of your resource generation is going to come from GDA Ops, which I actually really like because it means I don't have to be on my phone 24/7 farming. I can sort of set it and forget it and come back to it later and reap the rewards, which I think is really nice. So I'll give you guys a couple of tips that I got from other content creators. The GDA Ops that you want to focus on upgrading, this is heavy, is the best one to start off with, because it's going to give you these green access cards that let you rank up the rewards of all your GDA Ops. So you want to do this one. You want to pre-battle autofill with your best characters, and you want to send them in, and it'll give you a timer. You can see it's 7 hours, 8 hours. So you set this before you go to bed, you wake up, you collect the rewards, and now you can level up the amount of rewards you get, and you just rinse and repeat. And so you're just ramping, And in the first couple of months, it's going to feel like your rewards are not that good, but then after a few months of doing this consistently every night, you're going to be collecting like 2, 3, 4 times as many rewards. But this, as you can see, is where having multiple teams and building out a wide roster is also going to pay you a lot of dividends. Because as you can see up there with the plus sign, I have 4 more battles that I can send different teams on. But I can't go ahead and send that same team because they're busy fighting it out with This Is Heavy. So the other 2 GDA Ops I would recommend you focus on are Train and Gain to get hero XP, so you can obviously level up your heroes. Really super important. I'm going to send Alan the Alien and a couple of other, like Robot and War Woman, off to do that one. And then Downtown Destruction is my 3rd best one, because this is going to give you hero special XP to level up for specific tiers, like when you're going up to level 40, up to level 50, these sort of like big round numbers. We're going to send out the Mauler twins, awesome, with Shrinking Ray. And see how they do. And so they farm that out. It doesn't matter if they're not very strong. They'll still be able to farm for the duration of the op, whether it's 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours. They'll get more rewards, right? They'll get further and get more rewards and grind harder for you if they are stronger. So you have that incentive to build them. But even if you're just starting out, right, you can queue up a bunch of these teams with whoever you have, and you're still going to be able to farm some rewards absolutely free. No stress, no hassle. You don't have to use your credit card. You don't have to sit there like mashing the buttons, playing perfectly. It's going to handle all that for you. And in the meantime, you can focus on the fun stuff. You can focus on leveling up, building up your favorite heroes. Okay, I want to level her up here. Going to use some resources. Okay, I use some special XP to get her to 60. Now we're going to do the individual levels to get her up to, and we can actually hold this down, I believe. Yeah, and we can just ramp here. And then it's going to stop me. Do I want to go to 80? Yeah, I want to go to 80. And we're going to keep going up here. Yes. Okay, let's keep her at 99 for now. Let's keep her at 99. And then we can... Oh, we don't have anything to equip here because we have the burger on Omni-Man. But I believe we can reinforce some of this gear if we want with other gear. So you sort of crunch this down. and you level it up to increase the stats, to increase her stats, to make her even stronger. Another tip I have for you guys is alliances. Just like other mobile games that you play, alliance content is really important to get a bunch of free rewards. You can see here with 2 days, with a maximum of a week in idle rewards, I can go ahead and boom, collect this and get a bunch of stuff that I can now go back and use to level up my characters and level up my, my teams based on, this battle that we were doing. Now, I have to say, small criticism, the alliances right now are only 5 members deep, and I kind of wish they were a little bit bigger than that, because I could probably find more than 5 people to juke it out with. But it's really nice because you only have to contribute 1 hero. So think about it almost like, a special team made up of heroes from different factions or different corners of the world, and you're each contributing 1. Now, sure, your alliance may end up looking like this, where you got 4 Omni-Mans juking it out together, but you might end up all contributing a completely different character. And in some cases, you're going to want to do that because you're going to want a defender, you're going to want a support type character, etc. And so it's really nice to see. It's also really funny because, again, you can use duplicates, and you can essentially have 4 Adam Eves or 4 Invincibles, 5 even attacking at the same time, and you can create really wacky team ups because the game doesn't take itself too seriously with restrictions, and so you can have a lot of fun with that, or you can meta chase and go for like the optimal setup if you and your alliance want. Another thing I like about Invincible is that it pays to just check into the game for a couple of minutes every so often, because the shops where you're going to obtain characters from refresh for free every hour. Now, you get 3 refreshes a day, which you saw me use up earlier in the video, but it also will refresh itself every hour. And so what you're going to do is you can basically just pop in once an hour for a couple of minutes when you have a break from work or school or something like that, and you can check and see, hey, is Omni-Man in the shop? Hey, where's Adam Eve? Is she here? And as you buy up these characters to fill out your roster, it's going to level up your shop. And as it levels up your shop, as you can see here, you're going to have a higher and higher chance to get characters. And unlike other games, it's not a low chance. Look at this, 9% chance to get essentially the best characters in the game. That's amazing. And I'm already, even though I'm only at level 3, I'm already at almost a 5% chance. Just to put that into perspective, most mobile games put the elite characters obtainment rate at like 0.5% or like 1%, maybe 2%. So Invincible Guarding the Globe is already flirting with double to triple that percentage on essentially an account that's a couple of weeks, couple of months old. So I really appreciate that about the game. They don't make it super hard and super impossible and super expensive to build up your favorite characters from the Invincible universe. So what are you waiting for? Hit up Invincible Guarding the Globe today. Use my download link in the description to obtain Omni-Man absolutely for free, and try to be one of the first 30 people to add me as a friend in the game. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content. Shout out again to Ubisoft for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.